Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting edition of the Renatus J.A.M. My name is Jay Stark.
And I'm Matt Snyder.
Dude, Matt, you look especially fantastic today.
Why?
Why not?
Okay.
Does there have to be a reason why you look so
sharp.
good? Well, thank you.
So you came with your hair did. You got your watch on, buttoned up. Oh yeah.
My watch on?
Your watch
That's
on.
How
That's how I gauge if you're dressed up, I guess. I don't know. For me,
right,
if I was
here we
wearing
go.
a watch, if you guys ever see me wearing a watch, you know I'm serious.
You want
Right?
to see? You want to see how bad this is? Here we go, world. Check this out. Look at that tan line.
Ooh, look
Boom.
at that.
That just shows that I've been having a good summer so far.
You have been outside.
I have been outside a little
You've
bit.
been enjoying yourself.
So Matthew, we just celebrated Independence Day.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the 4th of July?
Well, I found this really cool quote by George Washington.
Dude, you are phenomenally quick. Let's hear it.
Yeah, because we were just talking about it like 5 seconds ago. So, if the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. George Washington, everybody.
Nice.
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech.
Yep.
I love how that is such an important part of who we are. And in true celebration of our freedom of speech, here we are doing a podcast today.
That's right.
Look at us embracing our
We're
rights.
Celebrating independence.
Celebrating
By
independence.
speaking up.
Speaking up, speaking
like
out, and making sure that we're always bringing to you the best and brightest that the Renatus Group has to offer. And today is no different. We are joined by our very special guests, Umair and Yaz Hawk, straight out of 20 minutes outside of Baltimore. I apologize. I don't remember exactly.
No, it was 30. 30 out of Baltimore, 20 out of D.C.
Oh, I'm sorry.
See, I listened.
30 minutes out of Baltimore,
listened.
20 minutes.
Did I get it wrong? Oh, crap.
They're like, what are you talking about? We live in Tennessee.
Right.
Oh,
shoot.
Sorry. Welcome to the Renatus J.A.M. How are you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Doing amazing. Glad to be on the J.A.M. session today. So
Yeah, buddy. We are happy to have you. So Umair, I just wanted to ask, because I know, are you still fighting MMA?
I'm still training. I'm actually headed to the gym right after the J.A.M. is done. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, I'm not competing like for money or anything anymore. I got tired of getting punched in the face for a living.
Yeah.
But
That's gotta hurt.
but yeah, I still exercise and I train and I do martial arts, and yeah, it's what keeps me healthy. Keeps me happy.
Was getting punched in the face for money what really drove you to real estate and Renatus?
Well, sort of. I just got a little burnt out. Was always an athlete, you know, and then I got into like Golden Glove boxing and kickboxing, and kept me out of trouble for a long while. And then I never really wanted to do it as a profession.
Yeah.
But I kind of had to because I had to make some money. And then I found Renatus. So yeah.
Nice. So Renatus is what really gave you the ability to start stepping away from that a little bit more full time.
Yeah, it gave me a new game to play, right? So there's so much energy, right? So it's all the same stuff. So I just applied the attitude and everything that I learned in martial arts to my business with Renatus, and it's paid me pretty good.
Pretty good. I like it. So what are some of those concepts? You said that you've taken everything that you've learned through martial arts and started to apply it to business. What are some of those concepts that you've applied?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I learned a lot about like energy work through martial arts. So if even with my real estate business, if I'm negotiating something, I can feel the seller and where they're at in the process, and I've been able to kind of, I don't know how to explain this, but pick up on energies of mixed in with what I've learned with Drive, but just really, really feel and be empathetic about what my customer wants, so I can then provide a solution. And it was similar like when you're fighting someone, because when you're doing martial arts, it's like chess, physical chess. So you're thinking, you're feeling, and you're reacting to what the opponent is doing, if you may. So there's a lot of similarities. So you just start learning how to how to understand what's happening beyond words, I guess.
Gotcha. So you learn to pay attention and to feel a situation, and then being able to respond accurately with the right response. I'm sure that just like in martial arts and in any combat sport or chess, you need to know how to respond correctly in order to really help that situation move forward in a productive way. How has Renatus helped giving you those tools?
Well, what we love about Renatus is, just like with martial arts and what I did previous, it's taught me how to respond. It doesn't matter whether, so we're in the real estate business and in the business of helping to create more real estate investors as independent contractors of this wonderful company. But the number one thing Renatus has done for me and my family has taught me how to respond, right? And so those responses are taught within the education. Like, hey, if you have bad credit, the response is take the credit repair class, right, by Eric Counts. If you have a lack of active income, where I was taught how to respond from a tax and legal standpoint from our instructor, Mark Kohler. So it's just, like I said, there's so many things that are exactly the same, but instead of learning different ways to throw a punch or a kick, I've learned how to throw these high-level financial systems and tools and resources that Renatus has given us to respond where we need to when it's time, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you're problem solving.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So then, okay. Can I segue? Yaz, I just want to ask you a couple of questions, because you mentioned right before we started the podcast that you were raised in Iran, and then you came to the U.S. at what point? How long ago?
A week before I was 21.
Oh, all right. So you've been here for about a year then. I get it.
A year. Year and a half.
Sorry. So let me ask you, what attracted you to Renatus? What made you see Renatus and think, oh yeah, this is going to be a path forward for me?
It was a little challenging to switch over from having a basically paycheck that was coming every couple of weeks to not knowing what's going to come next. So it took me a while to switch, but I met Omer, then he slowly started telling me about Renatus. I went to his presentation on our, I think, third date. He actually did an intro for me.
That's awesome.
Yes, and I had no idea what he's talking about. It was like speaking Chinese to me. I'm like, what is this guy saying? Like, I have no idea. But it was like, I liked him, so I was like, yes, okay, whatever. So slowly I started helping him with the marketing side of the business and expansion, and because I was organized and all that, so little by little started learning everything. And when I saw the vision and saw that actually things are happening, then it took me a little time, but I finally decided to, okay, I can let my full-time job go and stay home, work from home, and just go to our office a couple times a week and help others see the vision as well.
Now she is the marketing business. She just does her thing, so it's nice.
Awesome. That's hilarious that you guys went on a date and Mary's sharing the Renatus. That's
laid out the comp plan.
I did everything.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it worked.
Thoroughly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
that's
I wish I would have had the comp plan when I was dating. I had to do it the old-fashioned way and just date, and that was hard. So.
Yeah.
There's so many comments I could make about that, Matthew. I'm just going to move on right now, though, because I don't think we should. All right.
It's hard not to get in trouble on live.
Oh, true that. So, how long? So, Umair, how long have you been part of Renatus? How long have you been with Renatus?
Almost 6 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going on 6 years.
So, how in that 6 years you've seen a lot of developments come about. with the Business Center Helios comp plan, and that's just in the last 3 months. But you've seen a lot of developments happen. How has that affected your ability moving forward? How have you been able to effectively manage each one of those transitions?
Yeah, well, even from when I started, there's been a ton of transitions. But what I love about Renatus and all of the independent contractors within the communities is in time of adjustments, there's always that short period of like, I would call it friction. It's like growing pains. Like when you're lifting weights, it hurts, but through that pain comes growth. So what I've noticed the last 6 years is there's been things that change, and there's that little bit of the period where it's like, oh, all right, there's some things we need to iron out. But overall, after every single growth spurt, the company's just gotten better and better. So what I've learned just as a business owner is regardless of what happens, be able to adjust.
Yeah.
Okay. And so through it all, even now we're making adjustments. And as we adjust, we're learning things. And sometimes what has looked like a disaster has really been a blessing in disguise. And so we believe in you. We believe in the Renatus home team. We believe in Bob Snyder and his vision. So whatever happens as business owners, we know that the product is the best in the marketplace. Right. I know the marketplace really well. I've been down that road and tried a lot of different things. So we have the number one product in the marketplace. And so just with that, I can stick with the little bumps in the road when it comes to, the business center changing, company with Renatus billing is getting even better. We got rid of the third party UGA or whatever. So over the long term, man, we've just adjusted, and every single year the company's gotten better and better, right? So
right.
We didn't used to have award-winning comprehensive workbooks, and we're coming out with these workbooks, and I'm looking through them like, whoa, this is cool, because now you got the workbook, you got the online education, you've got real investors around you, and just having that in the back of my head with the little glitches here and there, I'm just whatever. It's just a little speed bump, right? On the road. So we've done a lot of things to adjust. Like Yas we completely changed what we were doing pre-COVID and now post-COVID. So, and at first we're like, holy smokes, what are we gonna do? Because I'm so used to this face-to-face interaction, not this. Like
yeah.
So it was a little bit of adjustment, but now our business is picking back up. We've got a system down. We're working from home. We're still doing events online, and it's been good. So
nice.
Hopefully that answers the question.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It sounds like, the more that you have confidence in Bob, in the vision, in the company, you understand that things are going to happen that are going to be, just like you said, bumps in the road. However, that doesn't change the destination of the road. That doesn't change the journey. That just adds a little bit makes it a little more eventful as you're going down the road. So sorry.
No, I mean, the obstacle is like with most people, including me, like most of us aren't used to change. It's so hard to embrace it. But as people start doing this in their spare time, it's a change too. So yeah. When I'm talking to my prospects, I try to tell them or inform them that, hey, change is good, and expect change and expect turbulence, because through it all, over the course of the years, you're going to see some massive gains if you just follow the process.
That's really interesting, because every person that we talk with on the J.A.M, on this podcast, they always come back to the same thing, which is as they were coming closer to success, they found that they were changing themselves first before it invited that success to them. That they had to make tweaks with themselves. They had to go through that pain of growth, that transition that you were talking about, in order to see success come to them. Have you found the same thing to be true in your business?
100%. I look back when I used to make like $26,000 a year, and now, I mean, we're making at least over 150 grand a year between our real estate business and our business as independent contractors. And so throughout it all, it's even now, like I still get like, everyone gets frustrated, right? And I still get frustrated, but whenever I begin to get frustrated, I also become grateful because I know an epiphany is coming if I stick with it.
Right.
So every day, like even with my real estate projects, I'm like, oh, but then after I just don't want to keep making the same mistakes. But that's when the education comes in prior to, and then we just kind of go from there.
Right.
So it's the same thing.
So what's been the biggest changing point for you during this process, during this, these 6 years? You talked about, before you were making, not very much, and now you're making more, significantly more. Sure. So what's been the biggest transition, or maybe even the hardest learning curve path? What's the word I'm looking for? Just learning stuff.
Learning bump.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest bump in the road? What's caused the greatest growth and learning for you?
The catalyst.
Well, I had one of the biggest things for me was because when I saw Renatus, it just makes sense financially with the numbers, the taxes, the strategies. I'm like, okay, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But the hardest part, and maybe a lot of people don't like to admit it, is dealing with the people in your life, right? Because your old friends, your family, people that you're close with, you're going through some major changes, and sometimes they unconsciously want to keep you where you're at because they feel like they'll lose some love, or they feel like they won't be as connected. And so dealing with those relationships with family, with other friends was probably one of the hardest pieces. And then after I even started a business, like up front, even with my parents, I was just trying to prove everyone wrong. Right. Where now I'm just completely over that. Like, so one of the biggest obstacles for me was dealing with naysayers and then building that confidence in myself, because I don't have any business experience. I've never done any real estate. I tried to learn from like YouTube, like, the University of YouTube and all these other things. And so gaining the confidence was big for me. And so that, yeah. That's what I would say.
Why did YouTube not work out? I hear that a lot, just in the quote unquote industry, whatever, education. Like, people will say that, it's on YouTube for free or whatever. Why didn't it work for you on YouTube?
Yeah, because for a number of reasons, right? With YouTube, it's great information. You can find some really, really good stuff on YouTube. But you get into this place where there's information overload, there's no direction, there's no foundations, right? Like, as soon as I got through the essentials, you guys have a place for me to write my own notes and then create my own action steps. So after I'm done with every module, I have actual things that I can go and do that are written down, right? So there's a process. With YouTube, I mean, it was really good information, but I never had a clear path to, hey, where do I start? What do I do? What's my first step? What class do I take? There was no direction.
Yeah.
Whereas with Renatus, you guys have the foundational courses and the essentials. Then you have the fast start, right? The quick start guide in the essentials. And that helps people pick where they want to play in the real estate space, right? If they want to go ahead and go into buying and selling and brokering mortgage notes, or if they want to do flips, or maybe they want to follow Chris Wilson and what he's teaching with a wholesaling business. So Renatus is more structured. And then when you tie that into these little communities that we have, whether they're online communities or in-person communities, you're around people in the business.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing that can replace that, right? And once you start seeing other people that have the same information as you go out and do flips and build their multifamily businesses or whatever it is, it's like, it's that whole environment factor that's missing. That's why for most people, they're going to continue to struggle if they just do it by themselves, right? I was by myself, living in my parents' basement, guys, doing circles. I was like, this is not easy. But and then when you add in the fact that Renatus pays you, I mean, no other company is willing to love you enough to share their profits with you. Like, it's just, I'm so sold that when I talk about it, I sell myself. Like, if I had to, I would buy, I mean, please don't do this, but it's lifetime complimentary access. I probably even shouldn't say this, but if I had to, I'd pay for Renatus. No, I would pay for Renatus over and over and over, just because the amount of value that Renatus provides as a company outweighs what they take monetarily any day. So.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love how you talked about gaining confidence through the community, through the education, through the steps that are put in front of you. You know, being able to see other people that have. I love how you said that. People that have the same access to education that I do, that are out there doing these things, gives me the confidence to know that I can do that as well. You know, that they have the same tools that I do, or I have the same tools they do, and so I can go out and do the same thing. I thought that was awesome. And I really, what I kept hearing you say is that as you were going through this transition, you went from a standpoint of no longer playing the game to not lose, and instead starting to play the game to win. So instead of being focused on what everybody else was thinking or doing or whatever, you started focusing on what I'm going to do and how I'm going to be intentional about creating that success. That's a phenomenal way to look at how Renatus can empower you to go out there and create your own success. I love that. That's just awesome.
That's the exact word I was thinking of, was empowerment. Right?
Yeah.
Empowers you to take the reins and take control and make it happen. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just nice for our family. It's like we can hang out and do things together and work together, and it just works. I mean, earn and learn.
Earn and learn, baby. I love it. I love it. So
last week we went to Washington State, to Spokane, to hang out with Sandy Girl Clark. And we did our intro, follow-up, everything from there. And awesome. We were just masterminding and enjoying life.
That is awesome. Sandy's one of my favorite people. So how was that, hanging out with her for a little bit?
Awesome. It was really fun. We had a blast.
Well, that just goes back to saying, like, we got together for a little business vacation type of thing. We got to see another leader in the business, and it was just so nice, just giving feedback back and forth amongst our businesses, talking, coming up with ideas, how we're going to drive more sales, how we're going to create more students, more communities, more makes more. So we learned so much from Sandy Girl. I mean, she's phenomenal. Yeah. She's homeschooled 7 kids. She runs a business, and she is on it. And so it was a really, really good back and forth learning experience for all of us.
Man, I'm sitting here, I'm absorbing, and I'm listening to what you're saying, just thinking the whole time that just not that long ago in my life, I would have thought that this situation was weird. That you are literally going and visiting somebody who's doing what you're doing. You could almost call them a competitor. Mm-hmm. And yet you have a cooperative relationship. You have a relationship where you work with Sandy, and she shares with you and gives you all of the information that you need in order to go out there and create more success in your own business. To me, that now that I'm saying it out loud, that almost sounds like foreign. Like, who would do that? But that's what Renatus is all about.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is everyone in Renatus is the same way. Like, I've talked to leaders in the business like Michael Huggins or, Scott Rowe or Nate Lambert, or anyone that you talk to is just so open. And so we always want to reciprocate the same thing, because that's the vision of the company. It's not about competition. It really is about collaboration.
I love that.
Rising tide raises all ships.
Did you have to practice that before you said it?
No. Well, in my head, like 4 times.
I always say that one wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like a raising tide. No,
raising ship rises all tides. No, no, I think it's the culture. It's the environment that you were talking about. It's definitely the way that our leadership thinks, and it bleeds all the way down to the bottom. And it's a really cool culture that has been built, because I haven't encountered it anywhere else. I've been a lot of different places just working as a sales guy or whatever. Never come across that. So
yeah, that's what really attracted me when Bob and I sat down the very first time. Was him just going, yeah, you know, this is how we're going to build, and I'm going to train other people to serve, help, support, and train others.
Yeah.
And talks about, you know, that duplicative process of being able to show a path, and then have that person show the path, and then that person will show the path. And I mean, even it's funny because even this past week we've been talking a lot about onboarding. And Bob goes, you know, the easiest way for somebody to learn how to onboard is to be brought on board.
Yeah, you know, do it.
And then once they're on board, now you just say, okay, now you've been onboarded. Do it to someone else.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway, sorry, I'm just I really love how you've just highlighted the fact that the even from the very mission statement of what Renatus is, it's all about empowering people. It's all about helping one another, and it's all about helping everybody to win their own race. You know, ultimately our race is against ourselves and only ourselves. Yet for whatever reason, we seem to look around all the time and look at other people and say, well, I want what they have, or they've got it better than I do. You know, the grass is greener.
Keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah.
But man, that is such a waste of energy, isn't it?
Sure is. Just make yourself better 100%. Day over day.
True that.
Yeah. Focus on that.
Wow. All right. Well, so where do you guys see your next step in business?
So right now, I'm in the process of buying a small mobile home park, and what we're doing, our success cycle is we have used the Renatus success cycle. So we started our business, we got some cash flow coming in, and then when we help other people get the same information that we have, we take a piece of that cash flow or a piece of that active income and we put it back into our rental business. And our goal is to be able to create, you know, $25,000 to $30,000 of passive income every single month. So we have worked hard to, you know, make money, save money, and now we're taking that capital and repositioning it in our real estate businesses. So our whole business plan is Renatus marketing, wholesaling, and fix and flip is our year's active income. And then we take a piece or a portion of that income and we reinvest it into our rentals. And the rentals do two things for us, and they do it for all students. A is they actually help us to start developing wealth, and B, they produce what's most important, cash flow. So when you really bring together, now both sides of the business, we understand they're separate, but when you bring them together, I mean, we've got an unstoppable force as long as we're willing to continue to go out there and do the work.
Oh yeah.
Because it takes work. Like anything else.
Exactly what you just described is what Bob calls the Renatus wealth cycle. Of being able to go out there, market Renatus, use the earnings from that market to then build up your real estate business, which then pays you passive income over time. That's how you're going to create that wealth cycle over time.
And as we buy these properties, we're learning to buy properties for pennies on the dollar. We're creating wealth instantly, right? Because we're walking in with equity. And what I've learned with the classes is all the amazing things that we can do with that equity to create more cash flow. So it's just been, man, we are excited.
That's awesome. That's you know, one of the things that we say a lot is results not typical. So what are the efforts that you've had to invest over the last 6 years in order to start creating these results in your life? Does that make sense? I mean, what's the price that you've paid? And I don't mean dollars and cents as much as I mean the efforts that you've had to invest in yourself and your business in order to get to this point.
What did it take to get where you are?
Exactly.
A lot of emotional fitness.
Right on.
A lot of emotional fitness. Yeah. I mean, people talk about working out physically. I mean, I work out emotionally every day. And what I mean by that is, we've paid a lot of money in self-development. We've coached with Coach Ron. We've had long conversations with Dr. Gary. I became a Tony Robbins qualified coach 2 years ago. So it's like you said earlier, it's been an ongoing process of getting to know myself better and controlling my emotions. And working with your significant other is not always easy. In fact, it's never easy.
No.
Right? We do this. I mean, it's just, we're being honest. We do that. And so,
yeah, that's honest.
It's a process. The number one thing is, just don't have that victim mentality. You know, the results that we've created, or the lack of results that we've created, has been us. We don't talk about what the company did or company didn't do, what my advisor did or what my advisor didn't do. Be the leader that you're looking for. So it's been the whole emotional fitness thing. Waking up and getting my mindset right is the number one thing, because if I let someone else make me angry or dictate my emotions, then who's in control, me or them?
Oh, amen to that.
They are. So wait. So how, you said something, you've got to wake up every day and get your mind right. What are the things that you do to get your mind right in the morning?
That's a good question.
I do incantations. My parents used to think I was crazy when I lived in their basement, but I would talk to myself. I look in the mirror. Because the goal is to, because what media and everyone and all these things that we see, they condition us to think, feel, and act a certain way. So I said, if the external world can condition me, then why can't Umair condition himself? So whenever there's some things that I want to create or a change I want, it's a mixture of feeling the feeling that you're going to feel when you get the result. So feeling it, thinking it, and then basically programming it into your mindset. Like, some people say, you made me mad, or you made me happy, or you made me sad. No, you made yourself happy, mad, or sad. So it's being conscious about what you choose to feel, which isn't easy. I'm telling you, it's hard to do.
It's work for sure.
Over time, you know, what, like Bob says, repetition is the mother of all learning. Over time, you're going to learn yourself so well, and you'll be able to snap yourself into the feelings that you want to feel every day, even when bad things are happening, because bad things always happen.
Yep.
So it's been the emotional fitness aspect of our business, because, man, a lot has happened.
Basically praying, meditating, affirmations, and knowing that having goals actually in life, because it's so easy to wake up, and our pool is open now, our neighborhood pool. So it's so easy to just want to go to the pool and just lay down and hang out there. But knowing all these goals that you have, and our next vacation that is going to come up at the end of August, since Leaders Retreat is not happening, we're going to go visit everyone in Arizona now.
Nice.
Oh yes.
So it's just making those plans, and then I don't know. I don't even know how I'm going to reach the goals sometimes. It's just envisioning it, feeling it emotionally, and then committed. Yeah. Having a partner keeps you committed, because I want to quit 3 or 4 times a day. I'm like, hey, I'm out.
Let's go to the pool.
Let's go to the pool, you know? And then you're going to become, for all the students that might be watching, like, you guys are going to become different people. I'm not the same kid I was when I started. I talk to friends, and they're like, they don't even know who I am. But it's a good thing, because as you grow and you develop, you know, things change, and you'll get the results that you're after. So emotional fitness is number one. Yeah,
I'm really glad that you're not the same guy. You know, I'm really glad that you've gone through this growth and this transition. And I that came out really wrong. What I meant is I'm happy to see you transitioning forward. Yeah. I'm happy to see you failing quickly and failing forward, so that you're constantly making progress and saying to yourself, you know what, I am going to fail. And when I fail, this is how I will respond. Because there are so many people that they don't plan to fail ever. And so when they do, they're so caught off guard by it, they don't know how to respond effectively. But what you just said was, you know what, I quit 3 or 4 times a day, but that doesn't mean I stop. that means that I reset and I just keep going. I figure out how I need to take the next step forward. You know, during the National, James Lawrence, did you guys watch the National Conference with the Iron Cowboy?
Yeah, of course.
Dude, his speech was phenomenal, but he talked about taking one perfect second at a time, where I'm trying to think of exactly how he said it. He said, you know, when you feel absolutely defeated and you can't do anything except for think 1 second into the future, make the next second a perfect second. And then, you know, do that twice, and then 3 times, and then have a perfect minute. And then after you've had a perfect minute, create the perfect hour. And he started, you know, he escalated it all the way up to creating a perfect day. But it's one of those things where, you know, there's going to come a time, every single one of us is going to get knocked down. We're going to get face first on the ground, bloodied, beaten, to the point where we're going to want to quit. And just like you said, you gotta find your way through that. And when you do, success will be on the other side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I
100%.
love that.
Me too, man. Those are some really honest answers, and I really appreciate it. I think that's what people are really looking for is, you know, what you just described was the building blocks to success, the how to.
Yeah.
Right? You know, Renatus provides the education. We've got the knowledge, but I think that what you guys talked about is what's behind that, the emotional fitness and the mindset and just really taking this and diving into the environment. So,
yeah. I know that, drive has significantly affected the emotional fingerprint coupled together with drive has affected the way that I communicate, especially to my wife. And you said, you know, we're in business together and sometimes it's, you know, a little bit of head first type of contact. Have you found that that's really benefited you two in being able to communicate more effectively through the different challenges that you face together?
100%. We've seen, because Yas, she's a executive validator or executive relator, one of those two. And I'm a director relator. So it's helped us to understand why each individual is so is the way the way that they are, right? So it's like, all right, so then when you're responding, you're like, okay, this is who she is. Or this
like
is
the director that wants to just leave everything and go to the pool. Okay. That wants to get everything done now.
This must be a really nice pool. I mean, you guys keep talking about the pool.
I'm like, I'll make calls from the pool. Right?
That's funny.
That's awesome. I love hearing how you guys have been able to implement these different things and how you're using that to help. And I really feel like it helps to shortcut conversations, right? You don't have to go through as much of the emotional turmoil when you can say to yourself, you know what, I understand why I feel the way I feel and I understand why you feel the way you feel. Now let's work through that. So that's pretty awesome. That's really awesome. Okay, well, I have loved talking with you guys. I feel like this is exactly what the Renatus community needs. Needs to know that all the tools in the world are only as good as the person that's willing to put energy into using them, and that once you do, you can start to create that success. And that's what I feel like you guys are doing. That's awesome.
Yeah, everyone's going to create their own way of doing business. And for the students, they need to get started and see how they can use everything that Renatus has put together for their benefit. Because everything's available, from the iOS to the earnings plan to the education, the people. So the knowledge, resources, and tools are there. You just got to get in the driver's seat and make it work for you.
Take control.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being our guest today. You guys have been fantastic. I have really loved talking with you, and I really hope that we can have you back out here, because I have just loved spending this time together. It's been amazing.
You guys
can't wait to see you in person.
What's that? Say that again.
I said we can't wait to see you guys in person.
Yes. Yeah. The leaders retreat got shifted a little bit. You know, we're not able to go to
Mexico, Cabo.
Cabo, man, I was gonna say Puerto Vallarta, and I was like, that's all right. Cabo.
We'll get through it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we will once again come together, I'm sure. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us, and really thank you for everything you're doing to serve in the Renatus community. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Hey, you too. On behalf
See ya.
of myself and Mr. Snyder, I want to thank Aaron Peterson for being our line producer once again, and we will catch you guys all again next week on the Renatus J.A.M.